Hello. All right. Looks like we're live on both. I'm very tired tonight. In fact, I was just sleeping, essentially. So I should be able to get at least a couple hours stream out of this, maybe. We'll see. All right. I want to talk a little bit about just checking something, sorry. So my brother Rob sent news today of an article from Upload VR, which was the group that I couldn't think of last night, David Giroux, who ended up being a community person for First Contact Entertainment. I originally encountered him one time I encountered him while watching an Upload VR stream. And Upload VR is like the leading news outlet for virtual reality, period. Are they always super thorough with one specific platform? No, they're not. But when it comes to their research and their knowledge, they're pretty thorough. So if you're looking for a reliable source, they're a reliable source, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. They're very objective as well. The only reason why I didn't like David was because, I gave my perspective on something that didn't have correct information. In other words, there wasn't fact behind it. It was literally just a conversation topic of which people could express their opinion. And he told me that I was wrong. Like, how can I be wrong on something which there is no factual information around? We're literally just having a conversation. So when people do that pisses me off and they lose my respect. So fuck David. But there is another David in Upload VR, named David Heaney, and there's been long talks leading up to the release of PSVR 2 on Steam, or not Steam, on PC, more specifically. Jesus, hey, what's up, Jesse? How you doing, man? More specifically around the accessibility of PSVR 2 on Steam and what that would look like. Now, presumably everybody thought that it's PSVR 2 just on PC, but that doesn't seem to be the case here. It is PSVR 2 on PC, but it comes with some caveats. And I want to read this article. Now, this is something that we could have discussed possibly in our podcast, but I don't know how relevant it is or how long of a conversation piece it would be. So I figure I just talk about it here a little bit and give my thoughts. So this is on Upload VR by David Heaney. PlayStation VR 2's PC VR adapter releases in August for $60. I want to start with that point alone. $60 for this little box here. And pull up look at that little box. It's a little box, but it's going to come with, I think, 2 cables. One of which you're going to need to buy yourself. So we'll talk about that. So $60 for a little box and maybe 2 cables. I think this is ridiculous, if you ask me. It's a ridiculous ask. At most, it should be $20. I say this because the little adapter for the PlayStation VR on the PS5, and I'm talking about the original PlayStation VR on the PS5, was smaller and more affordable. $60 is like a brand new controller, of which, by the way, they don't even sell these controllers anymore. So if one breaks, I mean, good luck trying to get one. Regardless, $60, steep price for a little box to connect your PSVR 2 to the computer. The adapter to use it ships on August 7th. The PSVR 2 PC adapter will be available from PlayStation Direct and select retailers, meaning they get to decide who is actually going to sell it. Price is $60, euros, and 50 pounds. The adapter takes in the headset's single USB cable on one side, which we could see here. On the other side is a fixed USB-A cable for your PC, a display port, which is the one that you're going to have to provide for your graphics card, and a third port that is likely for power from a socket. So if we look at here, this is the HDMI cable. Here is probably the power, I would say, since it's directly in the middle. And then this would be the USB-A. So the DisplayPort is one thing that you're going to have to provide. Sony says you'll need your own DisplayPort cable, as one isn't included with the adapter. You'll also need Bluetooth to connect the PSVR 2 Sense controllers, which means you're going to have to get, I don't know, so a Bluetooth dongle, like a couple that I actually have in my Fix the Drift. Nice, dude. Glad that worked out. Yeah, I get nervous around doing stuff like that, but you know, for those brave enough to do so, all power to them. So not only are you going to need to buy this box that comes with 2 cables, but you're going to have to buy the box, buy an HDMI port, and then you're going to have to get a Bluetooth dongle because they don't provide that either. So it's kind of bullshit. The adapter supports NVIDIA GTX 1650 and the AMD RX 5500 XT or later graphics card, though Sony recommends at least an RTX 3060 and RX 6600 XT for decent performance. I'm pretty certain I have the 6600 XT, and it runs great. So they're saying for decent performance, that's kind of concerning, given the fact that 6600 XT is not, it's not a weak performing, I don't know, card, in my opinion. As always with PC gaming, the performance requirement will vary widely between different titles. Using PSVR 2 on PC will require downloading a PlayStation VR 2 PC application, which includes a Steam VR driver and lets you set up your safety boundaries in pass-through, as you do on the PS5 console. So they're also creating an application. Sorry for all the ads, by the way. Upload VR, they've just become your standard website with ridiculous number of ads. They're going to require the download of the PlayStation companion app so that you can run things through it's not much different than I would suspect like Steam VR or Meta, the MetaQuest app. I suspect these things it's going to be similar to that. It's not going to be much different. It's just so that it can recognize that the PSVR 2 is connected. So that's fair. That's not a problem. I still think it's bullshit that they're forcing you to buy your own HDMI port rather than providing one that you will have to provide your own Bluetooth dongle, of which you then have to connect your Sense controllers. Of course, are they going to connect to all different kinds of dongles? I'm not really sure. It doesn't state in here, and I'm sure that they're not aware either. PlayStation VR 2 standout features are not available when using the headset on PC, however, including eye tracking, HDR, headset rumble, adaptive triggers, and precision haptics on the controllers. So pretty much all the standout features, I don't know why I keep dropping frames. It's probably because of these stupid fucking ads, by the way. So yeah, it's some bullshit right there. Anyway, sorry. I get now my kilobits are dying. And it's as soon as that ad went up. God damn it. So all the standout features for a PSVR 2 are not going to be available on the PC. So the eye tracking, which is huge, right? Eye tracking is a massive thing. HDR, massive thing. Headset rumble, not super massive, but definitely something that is a standout feature of the PSVR 2, which I personally appreciate. It's a good added feature that allows you to be a little bit more immersed. Adaptive triggers, these are so great, by the way. The adaptive triggers are amazing. Like when I play No Man's Sky, I know I don't even have to look at the overheat bar of my weapon, of my mining weapon, to know that I'm starting, like I'm going to have to let go of the trigger soon, because you get that haptic resistance. It's such a useful tool for your hardware. I'm kind of surprised that they're not adding that. And then precision haptics on the controllers. Precision haptics, obviously, being, you get haptics based on what the game input is on the controllers. Now, are these required? No. PC VR users are going to find that they don't have access to most of these things anyway. So it's like, are they really missing out? And the reality is this: they kind of are missing out. And the hope was that when the PSVR 2 was going to hop on over, it was going to come with all these features. And unfortunately, that's not the reality. And why they would withhold these features, I would think, is more so related to hardware limitations. And I say hardware limitations because not everybody's going to have access to the greatest hardware on their PC. But I'm also thinking to myself, like, these might be features that they add a little bit later. These stupid ads literally kill my frames. I saw it switch, and it dropped my frames like, whoa. And now it's balanced out. Whatever. While the lack of eye tracking precludes eye-tracked foveated rendering, Sony's driver will allow fixed foveated rendering, which is not that's not uncommon for PC VR. Fixed foveated rendering is a thing for some headsets, and where the edges of the image are rendered at lower resolution. So that's not new. So here's the power, right? This is what it would come in. This is the USB plug that goes into whatever, into the wall. And you would plug that in, or that would go into the PlayStation itself. You'd have the power cable somewhere, I think over here then. And then you'd have the HDMI port here. Sony first announced it planned to let PSVR 2 owners access additional games on PC back in February, and the company didn't specify how this would work. But a PlayStation VR 2 PC adapter was recently certified by South Korea and regularly leaking its existence. The adapter will make PlayStation VR 2 the only recent PC capable VR headset with OLED panels that has built-in tracking and comes with controllers, and by far the most affordable. And it will be the most affordable in comparison to some of the other ones that require towers, but that's neither here nor there. I don't know how much of a step forward that actually would be for PC VR users. PSVR 2's OLED panels provide true blacks in far superior contrast and colors compared to LCD headsets, which is 100% true. The breadth of the color spectrum is so much better on the PSVR 2. I mean, I can speak from experience. It's great. But with the trade-off of a non-uniform fixed pattern noise over the entire screen called Mira, which you do see in certain situations, but developers have worked to limit that effect. And honestly, it's like the screen door effect, right? Once you're actually in the game, that screen door effect that you would get on older headsets, that would kind of go away. Like, you could still see it, but it wasn't so distracting that you were like, oh my God, this is the worst thing ever. I can't play because this is so disruptive. It wasn't the case. Like, once you started getting immersed and started focused on the things in the game, then that screen door effect would go away. The same thing is true with this Mira. So I'm not too concerned about that. That is like a non-issue. In fact, I get it with my PSVR 2 as anyone would, but it's a non-issue. If you're interested in getting a PSVR 2 to PC to use on PC, the headset is currently on sale for $100 off, meaning you can grab it for $450. Which I understand they want to try to make as much money as possible, so they're not going to give you a massive discount. $100 isn't that bad. It's really not that bad. I mean, it's around the MetaQuest. It's obviously, I think, $150 more than the MetaQuest 3. And yeah, so I have my feelings about it. I don't really have much to say other than, like, they got to do what they got to do to try to get over to PC. Is it going to be the best transition? Likely not. It's probably not going to be the best transition. It is what it is. I will probably get the adapter because I'll be honest, I prefer the PSVR 2 headset over the Quest 2. In fact, I would probably prefer it over the Quest 3 simply because the Quest 3 still doesn't have the field of view that the PSVR 2 has, and it doesn't have the OLEDs. And I like the OLEDs. It's very clear. I like the PSVR 2 headset. The only thing I don't like about the PSVR 2 headset is that the slider, the mechanical slider for the lenses, it's not like the PSVR 1 headset is the most comfortable headset I have ever worn, but the PSVR 2 is not nearly as comfortable. The silicone space filler that touches your face and connects to the headset, right? It doesn't provide any kind of cushion, and with the mechanical adjustment for the lenses, because of where my eyes sit, like it's in a little bit more from the average, so it sits closer to my fat nose, and when it starts sliding down, then those lenses rest on my nose, and there's no like fix for that. There's nothing to make that better, and it's painful. Like my nose is still sore from yesterday and the day before. It's still sore from like the 8 hours I wore PSVR 2 over the past couple of streams. So it certainly is like a great headset, but it's certainly not the most comfortable. The PSVR 1 headset is by far the most comfortable. I could wear that thing for hours, never feel any kind of discomfort. But that's for me personally. That's not to say it's the like it will be arguably the most comfortable. A lot of people have said that it is the most comfortable. And even to this day, you can ask what is the most comfortable headset you've ever had. Everybody will say, well, not everybody, but the great majority would say the PSVR 1 headset was ergonomically the most comfortable. That's the only downfall for the PSVR 2, in my opinion. I love the controllers. I love everything about the system, except for that one level of discomfort. I'm going to get the adapter. I prefer it over the Quest 2. I will certainly run it since I have extra HDMI cables. I'm not concerned about that. And this way I can switch between, like I literally would just have the adapter set up, probably put it right here in front of my TV, unplug my PSVR 2 from the console, put it into the adapter, and I can switch between the two at will. It's going to be easy for me. But for other people who want to get it, it's like extra cost, $60 for the box. Then you got to get the Bluetooth dongle, and you got to get an HDMI cord if you don't have one already. The whole thing is a bit ridiculous. So anyway, figured I'd share that. Sorry that the stream is a little choppy. I 100% blame websites with ridiculous amounts of ads on it that cause loading issues. I wish Upload VR would get rid of some of their bullshit ads. I don't know why I use these controllers to turn on. I didn't mean to do that. Okay. All right, now we're going to get into some Rise of the Ronin. So yesterday's talk was definitely much longer, but I wanted to at least talk about that since that came across my phone today. The reason this is happening is due to PS and Xbox both losing the console wars to PC. I wouldn't really agree with that. I think there's still a place for consoles. I think there will always be a place for consoles. And the reason being is because why consoles are preferred by many is simple. Games that are exclusive to consoles are popular because those games are designed to operate at their optimum on that console. It is when they start doing ports to PC and ports to other things that they start losing their value, like Horizon being ported over to PC, God of War, Uncharted, other things being ported over to PC. I think there will always be a place for consoles. I don't think that they're doing this because they're losing to PC. I think they're doing this because they're not getting their way and they're making major mistakes. Xbox acquired Bethesda and Activision and everything that comes with those two names for tens of billions of dollars. And that put them in such a hole. And if you listen to our first podcast on GeForce, that put them in such a hole that they had to let go of a couple of studios, unfortunately. And that has led them down a path of no return. They are struggling to keep pace. It's too expensive now to make consoles. That they, similar to like what they used to. They can't afford to keep certain developers anymore because they've spent so much money on certain acquisitions. Sony is losing the PSVR 2 situation because they didn't support it. Simple. They just didn't support it. They didn't support it enough. They didn't advertise it enough. They didn't care to provide it the attention that it deserved, which led to very low optics. So when you're marketing and you're not marketing properly, then yes, you're not going to get a lot of sales. And if you don't get a lot of sales, well, obviously you're not going to push the hardware. And then you're also not going to encourage developers to create games. And if you don't have a huge library, then like you can't sell a console. It's like trying to sell a PS4 with no games. It's impossible. So they didn't sell the PSVR 2 like they sold all their standalone consoles from PlayStation to PS5. So of course it's not going to sell well. The reason why PSVR 1 sold well was because it was during a time when VR was still in its general infancy. You had the Oculus and you had the PSVR, and this was even before the Quest. You had the Gear VR, which was kind of a standalone, the Gear VR being the one that they worked with Samsung to, so you could put your phone into your headset and whatnot. So they didn't put enough effort, just like they didn't put enough effort into the Vita or the PSP. These are all like extra side pieces of hardware that PlayStation is like, let's throw it out there, see if people like it with minimal advertising, and if it doesn't do well, we drop it. And they've done that 100 times over. They're the ones who ruined it. This has nothing to do with the consumers. This has nothing to do with PC being better or not. This has everything to do with Sony not supporting their own consoles. So what do they have to do? They have an overstock of PSVR 2s because they weren't able to sell as many as they would hope, and now they're pushing it to PC. And this is where it's opinion, right? This is the point where it's opinion. Before, I believe, is 100% fact. There's so much evidence to support the fact that they just didn't support the marketing for PSVR 2. This is where my opinion comes into play. I believe that they are pushing it to PC so that they can eliminate their overstock of PSVR 2s in hopes that people will buy it. But now they've put cost barriers in the way. And once they get rid of that stock, they're going to no longer produce them. So whatever exists. And that's it. It's so bad that it's near impossible to get a new controller. To get a new controller is, I don't even think they're producing the controllers anymore. So people who need a new controller can't even get one. I mean, need I say more? They just want to get rid of it and hope that they can get whatever money back that they can. That's what I think, anyway. More and more console players moving to PC is because console execs, like the people running Xbox, the Xbox division or the PlayStation division, they are forcing the reason why people are doing this is because they're forcing developers to make things that they are not accustomed to making. And they're pushing deadlines that are not obtainable. They're not allowing freedom of development. What they're doing is that they're pushing developers to make games that will appease stockholders. That's what they're doing. And the consumers are not stupid. Like, video game consumers are not dumb. They can read this. even as much as the media tries to hide it at times, it's very obvious what they're doing, and we're getting shit games because of it. Why are people going to Steam? I'm not saying a lot. I'm not saying like there's this grand exodus of console players to PC, but I am leaning towards PC nowadays every once in a while because there's a freedom on Steam where indie developers or just developers in general can put their games out as they are or take their time to put them out or whatever it may be. They have a little bit of freedom because they're not under this contract of a major corporation like Xbox or Sony. Nintendo's forever going to stay its own thing. Nintendo will forever be loved and beloved. I think they harass and like improperly treat their consumers who like to stream the games or create content around the games. But in general, they have their own ecosystem that they never fall out of. Sony and Xbox have been pushing out of their ecosystem so much, it's ridiculous. I think they put a lot of stock in Firewall Ultra for PSVR 2, but probably couldn't promote it more in its state early on. I mean, Titch, on that point, they should have, though. In fact, if they wanted it to succeed, they should have allowed people to test it. They should have allowed previous players to test it. We were told by First Contact that beta testing externally is not allowed, or it wasn't allowed. So how do you expect the game to succeed that way? You know what I'm saying? You need beta testing from the players, not from the developers. If the developers are creating a game that doesn't necessarily suit the needs of the players, especially the long-standing players, then you're going to have poor sales. You're not going to be appeasing the needs and the desires of the consumers, and it's going to turn into shit, which is exactly what we saw. And now the developers are in a scramble to now make changes, fundamental changes, mechanical changes to a game that they just spent 5 years working on, hoping that it would do well, but now they have to fix it because they didn't have the input early on. Whereas if they had the input early on, they could have made those changes and they could have released in a far better state. They did advertise it, but they didn't push the advertisement. They pushed Horizon because Horizon was developed by Guerrilla, and well, Horizon Zero Dawn and Horizon Forbidden West are so popular that it was, hey Karen, it was much better to push that title because it's well known on flat screen and try to draw people over to the PSVR 2. But it was a climbing simulator mixed with like very restricted fight scenes, which is, I mean, that was not the title to push. If there was a title to push and optimize, it would have been Firewall Ultra. Quest made it easier to go to God damn it. Quest made it easier to go to PC VR streaming. Where is my... Hello? Yeah, now it pops up. What the fuck? Quest made it easier to go to PC, VR streaming, etc. Became much bigger during COVID, and Quest allowed for a larger library with PC VR. It's a larger library because that's where developers go to, right? Like they've been developing for Quest because Quest was selling extremely well, far better than what probably anyone expected. But developers have been not wanting to develop for Quest as of late because of the limitations. You have to downgrade the graphics. You can't push out the quality that you want to push out. So that's what AxeLab did with Veil. They made it PC VR strictly, but now they've succumbed to the need to make it available for Quest and so on and so forth. So now it's available on multiple platforms. That sucks because the graphics for Veil are ridiculously good. Now, the larger library exists because of the freedom. They're not tied, developers aren't tied down by big corporate production, you know? Yeah, but my point was all the Quest players can access. Yes, this is true. That made it accessible. But Sony is so capable. I mean, if you look at Sony's success with IPs, many times they have won Game of the Year or at least been the runner-up for Game of the Year. I don't think an Xbox game has won Game of the Year. I can't remember the last time that they actually won Game of the Year, but it's mostly Sony games that are winning Game of the Year. Or at least they were exclusive or pretty close to. So like Sony puts out IPs that are phenomenal. They could do the same thing with PSVR 2. So like, yes, you're saying it's a larger library, but it's only a larger library because, yes, those are available there. And it's easier. Steam is easy to put games up onto. In fact, you get a lot of trash games on Steam, but PlayStation has the capability. They have the money and the manpower to create IPs that would rival Steam VR, not in quantity, but in quality. They're more geared to single player RPG games, though, which generally win awards. Yes, this is true. But in the VR realm, I mean, just look at No Man's Sky. I've been playing that like crazy. That game was designed for flat screen. And then Hello Games made it for VR. And it's one of the best VR titles out there. I like literally, I'm not even kidding. In terms of interactivity, the way the user interface is phenomenal in No Man's Sky. The transitions from on the planet to off the planet to freighters to everything to warp speed, everything is so smooth. And you have a lot of titles like that. You Capcom's buying into making VR ports for all their games. So like it's there. The ecosystem's there. You have developers who want to do this, but you're not supporting them. Yeah, I could. Yeah, hold on, let me see. So, anyway, back to your original question there. Jesse, do I think that they're doing this because Xbox and Sony are losing to PC? I really don't think that's the case. I think they killed themselves. I truly think that's what's happened. All right. Library. You didn't do anything wrong. What are you talking about? Alerts. Add new button. Text to speech. 100 bits. Why is it under 100 bits? Oh. Let's remove that. I don't want you guys to pay bits. You know what I could do? I can make it subscriber only. Now let's just get rid of that. Remove. Yes, remove. Let's go to channel points instead. Add new button, text to speech. We'll make the text to speech. They have it set to 1,000. That seems like excessive. What do we do? Like 300? Because people can truly abuse it. You have work to do? All right, dude. Let's see. Enabled. An error occurred? What do you mean error occurred? All right, let's see. Let's see if it's available. Cannot cheer. That. It didn't mean to try to cheer. Text to speech. It's there. Check it out. Give it a shot. See if it works. All right. I'm going to end the Rise of the Ronin.
We have the cheese.
We have the cheese. Okay. Hold on. That is a pitiful male voice, by the way. Try that one. I just updated it. Actually, instead of you trying it, save your points.
This feels wrong.
Okay, that one's not bad. I'll stick with that. All right. Anyway, there's kind of my rant on the PSVR 2 going to PC. You guys let me know if you agree, disagree. Regardless, it's coming to PC, and I'm gonna get the adapter. It just is what it is. I prefer my PSVR 2 over any other headset. All right. Let's do this. I remember that there was a special fight. I think it was somewhere in here. Or up here. Might have been up here. No, it was along here. That's where it was. We're not going to do that, though. No. We're going to do this Bond mission. Bond. James Bond. Let's see, I got my concierge cat done. Let's go in there. Let's get the awards for that.
I made my serif at home.
So after I'm done streaming here, I'll probably do some more in No Man's Sky. Because I've been enjoying that. I need to do some material collecting. For those who... what is that hat? For those who have been enjoying that, appreciate the support. No Man's Sky is one of those games that it's very difficult to stream because it's got such a... Like, there's a fan base for it, but it's not really a game that is easily streamed, you know? And not everybody enjoys watching it, because it is cumbersome. There's a lot of dead time waiting for, like, materials to be gathered and things to be built, and it really is a bit of a time waster. But I enjoy it a lot. There's a really cool game out called Soul Mask, and it's a lot like Conan Exiles. I know I talked about it before, but it's a survival game. And I'm 100% down for playing it. It's still like in relative early access. If you guys are interested in me checking that out, I'm totally down for giving it a shot, at least for one stream. See how it goes. But I still have Mass Effect to play, a few other things. So, what are we at? Strength at 21. We still need our strength of our kittens up, and. Like, very few of these actually, like, look at that. None of these actually, this one right here is for strength, but the rewards go down, which is trash. This one's good. We'll do that. Strength for this one, we'll do that. By the way, I don't really know what this does, so it just gets me awards. That's about all I know. But it's fun sending the cats out anyway. Ooh, doggy's back. Got some good stuff there. Okay, let's see. Talk to Shinsaku here.
What do you want?
We're already faded. I don't need to give you shit.
Really?
Yeah, really. I really don't. Yeah, we can exit. I did 10,000 before. We're just gonna do the 500 again. And we got a ways to go. I need, I think I'm just gonna run. Well, ride. Because I do need to get some more ore along the way. I'm sick of having to procure it other ways. Mostly through purchasing it. And I don't want to keep having to waste money on it when I could just get out here, or breaking down equipment to get it. I just don't want to do that anymore. I was watching Tim the Tatman play Elden Ring again. It's been months, I mean months, since the last time he played it. I love the guy, I love watching him, but he is so bad at those games. Get out of my way, bro. What the heck? He is so bad at those games. I'm not going to sit here and say, like, I'm great at these kinds of games, okay? I'm not great at these kinds of games. But I will say, watching him makes me feel a hell of a lot better. By the way, am I still dropping frames? Is it that bad? I don't know what would be causing the frame drops. Are you guys experiencing stutters or anything like that? Let me know. Fight? No, someone who just wants to duel. Don't really care for that. Yeah, if there's excessive stuttering, I'd be more than happy just to restart my PC and restart the stream. I mean, I'm only what, 41 minutes in. Oh, I could have gotten feathers there. Damn it. Maybe I can get a couple here. Nope. Why am I getting frame drops, man? Okay, I'm watching my stream. It's not showing that there are any frame drops, so fuck it. It shows that I'm tanking now. Just gonna watch my stream real quick. Yeah, there's no drop frames. What the heck is OBS talking about? So confused. Which way do I go to get around this? I should be able to go straight. I see why that whole section is blocked off. I guess I'm gonna have to go this way. There'll be a bridge over here. I take the long way around. Take the bridge over here. Alright, now we should be back on track. I would love a game like this. We're stealing from these people. Bitch. You don't deserve that money. I would love a game like this to be an MMO, you know? Be able to build our own huts, our own long houses. Create our, you know, either submit ourselves to certain districts or create our own district, you know. I think that'd be cool. I want an MMO that is like really suited for me, you know what I'm saying? Oh, we're stealing from these guys too. Yeah, that's right. Okay, I just watched my stream and it certainly dropped frames there. 4,000 dropped frames? Hold on 1 second. I'm opening up my task menu and seeing what is causing this. OBS is not... No. I refuse to believe OBS is a reason for this. Why is it saying that there are so many dropped frames? It keeps dipping. I fucking hate computers sometimes, man. All right, I'm gonna get rid of Opera, even though Opera isn't really outputting that much. I see it's still doing it. All right, sit tight. I'm gonna restart my computer and then restart my stream.